Good evening, lacrosse fans, and welcome to Westfield High School as we get ready for this rivalry game between Chantilly and Westfield. Annie Mendoza in the booth alongside Yusuf Nasser, and Yusuf. Should be a fantastic game. Obviously, it's a fantastic evening. The sun is shining, dried up the field. It's a great night for some good lacrosse.
Great evening for lacrosse. Big stakes for both teams. It should be a fun one.
It should be, so we'll get right to it. Keys to the game for the home team, Westfield.
For Westfield, I think it's important that they match the athleticism of Chantilly. Make sure that they get back in transition. Also, when the ball's on the ground, they have to compete. They have to get a good share of ground balls, and on the offensive end, limit their mistakes and their turnovers. Those are the three keys for Westfield. I think those are going to be prominent if Westfield is to get the win today.
Who are the players you're looking for the Bulldogs?
First player to watch for the Bulldogs is their leading scorer, Alex Horgan. He's a guy who shows up to play every single game. He's a guy who Chantilly has to account for. When the ball's on the ground, he'll scoop it up too, but he's a guy on the offensive end. And then their goalie, Kyle Susko, 60% save percentage. He's actually looking to go to Mary Washington, my alma mater. That's a good choice for him if that's what he decides to go to. But, he's a very talented player. He's going to have to be the man in charge, last line of defense against the Chantilly team.
So for Chantilly now, the visiting Cougars, who are you looking for? Some keys to the game first for them.
For Chantilly, I think an important thing is to dictate tempo. Talk about their athleticism. They have to use that athleticism, run when they need to, and slow it down when they need to. They've got to win faceoffs. The faceoff guy for Westfield, David Chivio, he's going to be out. He has a knee injury and unfortunately won't play. It's going to be key that they take advantage of that, and then shot efficiency. Take good shots. Make sure that you're going down there and getting good production when you go down there on the offensive end.
You mentioned it, a big loss for the Bulldogs is their main faceoff guy, David Chasivio, will not be playing tonight. Really bad knee injury, so obviously we wish the best for him, but it's going to have to be one of those things for the Bulldogs where they really attack with numbers, especially on the ground balls.
They have to swarm, absolutely, and Connor McLean is going to be a big part of that effort. We talked to Coach Broderick before the game, and we asked what do we expect from Connor Broderick in this one, or Connor McLean, and he said he doesn't know at this point in the season. That's a concern, but he's a guy in the midfield who's going to Bridgewater, and he's going to have to be productive. And then Lawrence Park, he's going to rotate with his brother. He's going to rotate with his brother. He's going to go to Washington College in Maryland. He's going to rotate with his brother on the dot. They have to be competitive. They've got to win their fair share of faceoffs in order to take advantage of the loss of Kachivia.
You mentioned it. It's a pair of brothers as Lawrence and Connor Park for the Chargers and Kyle Susko and Jacob Susko for the Bulldogs. Look out for number 3 for the Bulldogs. That's Jacob Susko, as talking to Coach Palazzati before the game. He mentioned that Jacob has really been one of the positive surprises for the Bulldogs this year, and especially with their main faceoff guy being out, he's going to be that main faceoff guy. So look for him. He's a tough guy. High IQ is what Coach told me, that the concepts of lacrosse come to him very easily, and he's obviously a tough kid, plays football as well.
And that toughness is key on the dot. It's interesting. Susko on the dot and Susko on the cage. It's going to be – those two players are going to be the fulcrum for this Westfield team if they're going to get this win in this big rivalry game.
And you mentioned it too. A big key will be the goalkeepers, Kyle Susko for the Bulldogs and Cameron Goodlow for the Chargers.
Goodlow, only a freshman. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays in a big spot here, rivalry game. It's a playoff implications for this game. It should be interesting to see how Alex Horgan and the rest of the Westfield crew take advantage of that. And
talking to Coach Broderick before the game for the Chargers, he mentioned, of course, it being a rivalry game, so the players know that. He doesn't have to say much, but this game is going to be a little bit more important for everybody.
They recognize it, and he was talking about how these two youth teams actually play against each other, so there's friendly rivalries across the board.
Take a quick break for the national anthem. We are moments away, folks, from what should be a fantastic game as the Westfield Bulldogs play host to the Chantilly Cougars. So glad you could join us this evening on DMVSTREAM.com. Andy Mendoza here alongside Yosef Nasser. And Yosef, we talked about it already a little bit in the pregame. Rivalry game, a lot of playoff implications. This game will decide the number 1 seed in the conference playoffs to be played here coming up soon. What are a couple of things you're looking for early on from both teams?
Who wins the initial face-off here? We talked about how Cachivio, he's out for the season. This face-off right here can really set the tone and really get whichever offense wins it, whichever attack unit gets it, give them a good position to really set the tone for this game.
And it'll be interesting to see mentioned that Jacob Susko will be taking over the face-off duties for the Bulldogs. He's a freshman, a little bit undersized, but he can use that leverage to help him, and he'll be going up against Lawrence Park, who's a senior for the Chargers.
You would think that has an advantage, but Susko's got favorable reviews. His lacrosse is clearly in the family. His brother Kyle is in goal, so I think they've got confidence in him, and he's a guy who they're counting on to execute here in a big spot.
Coach Palazzati has all the confidence in the world in him. Mentioned how pleasant of a surprise he has been so far this season, how high his IQ is, how he does a little bit of everything for the Bulldogs, also plays football. I mentioned that earlier, so you know the toughness is there.
The toughness is there, and you talk about playing football. This is a class of the state when you talk about their production. They've won the past 3 VA 6A state championships, so they can compete, and they've got the athletes to do so here out on the lacrosse field.
So 2 teams that are very familiar with each other. Mentioned that Coach Broderick mentioned that a lot of these guys know each other from youth lacrosse. Obviously, a couple of them have been in the program already, have played against each other, not only in lacrosse but also in football. So you know that there's some familiarity there, and familiarity sometimes breeds a little bit of extra chippiness.
Absolutely. You talk about chippiness. Coach Broderick, he's the definition of old school. I think you compared him to Coach Belichick. So I think that he definitely brings that. He's going to be placing high expectations on his guys today, and we'll see if they can come out and execute here early on.
Yeah, my level for respect for the New England Patriots beat reporters just grew a little bit more after that pregame interview with Coach Broderick. It was tough to get any information out of him, but he's excited to see what his Chargers are going to bring to the field this afternoon. He mentioned that they're still a work in progress. We asked him kind of who's the straw that stirs the drink for the Chargers, and he just kind of smiled at us and he said, "We'll see."
I don't know if he was having a little fun with us or, if he just really means what he says there, but we'll see who steps up for Chantilly today.
So we are getting ready to get started here as it is Park against Susko in the draw circle. And you mentioned it, the face-off, the early face-off is won by Chantilly. Lawrence Park and immediately takes the early shot, so a good save there by Kyle Susko.
And you talked about Park and Susko, Jacob on the dot. It looked like Park won that fairly easily, so that'll be something to track throughout this game, whether or not that proves to be a big advantage for Chantilly.
So Westfield now with their first offensive possession of the game, get the ball behind the cage, and they look to work it around the offensive zone. Of course, no shot clock in high school lacrosse, so they can take their time and run their stuff. And talking to Coach Palazzati before the game, he mentioned that they were going to look, the Bulldogs were going to look to maybe slow the pace down a bit, be a little bit more methodical in their offense, and make sure that they really run through their plays.
And that contrast in pace is going to be something very interesting to watch here, because you saw Chantilly, they took a very quick shot off of the face-off win. They want to run it. Westfield wants to slow it down. It'll be interesting to see who wins that battle.
So the first whistle goes against the Bulldogs. Chantilly will get possession. And you mentioned it. It was interesting because we specifically asked Coach Broderick of Chantilly what type of pace they were going to look to play, and he kind of smiled again and said, "We'll see." That seemed to be his favorite answer in our pregame interview with him, but it looks like that was something, the up-tempo quick shots is something that they're going to look to utilize, maybe get the shots off, maybe start their offense before the defense can get set.
And perhaps the unpredictability factor, being able to switch tempos and really play with a controlled chaos to kind of get this Westfield team off guard. Perhaps that's what he was alluding to, because they go down, get a quick shot, and now they're more methodical on this possession.
So the Chargers with possession now at the top of the offensive zone In no rush is Mason Gion, the senior attacker for the Chargers. Of course, the Chargers are in the all-purple. Meanwhile, the home team Bulldogs are in the white jerseys with gray shorts.
You mentioned Gian. It's interesting. There are a series of brothers on both rosters. Perhaps the nature of public school, high school lacrosse, but it's interesting to see.
That shot goes off the side of the cage. It's a great point by you. It seems like it's the Family Feud version of lacrosse today, as we've got multiple sets of brothers. And a long-distance shot is absolutely scorched past the goalie. The first goal of the game goes to number 2, Matt Martin, as the Bulldogs take the early 1-0 lead.
Matt Martin, a promising player. He's got interest from several ACC clubs, and he just got it in transition and launched a bullet on the cage, a little bit quick, and he was able to knock it down.
As you see the replay there was steam on the back of that ball. What a rip by Martin. And you mentioned the interest from ACC programs, and you can see the pure talent there on that shot.
Only a sophomore, but along with Alex Horgan, he's one of the guys on this attack unit who's really been productive for them.
Martin leads the Bulldogs in goals so far this year, coming into this one with 26, now 27.
And you see there, they've got Park's younger brother, not Lawrence Park, but Connor Park, and Connor won the face-off there. So 2 face-off wins early for Chantilly.
And an unforced turnover there, as Westfield cannot connect on the pass to play it out of their own zone. So Chantilly takes back over, and you mentioned that now the Chargers 2 for 2 in the face-off circle, so defense and stops and saves are going to be that much more important for the Bulldogs. If you can't win face-offs, you better be able to defend.
That defense is going to lead to transition opportunities like the opportunity that Martin had, but that puts a lot of pressure on your defense if you're not able to win face-offs, or at least be competitive on the dot and be something to monitor over the course of this game.
And you saw a great save there by Kyle Susko coming into this game with 126 saves, just under 60% save percentage. So that is something that we expect to see a lot of, as he's one of the better ones in the area.
He certainly is a junior, so he's got 1 year to go, and he's got plenty of experience. He's been playing for this team for quite some time, and he's very dependable in goal.
2-year starter for the Bulldogs as he looks to clear the zone. Good job finding his teammate there, Andrew Warrington.
It'll be interesting to see this possession if Westfield settles into some offense and turn it over as we speak.
Yeah, sloppy pass there from Warrington turns it into a transition opportunity for Chantilly, and a quick one. And a good thought with the pass there, just could not connect. That was number 17, Pierre Johnson, sophomore midi for the Chargers, throwing it away, so possession goes back to the Bulldogs.
The pass was a good idea, as you mentioned. It didn't look like he had the angle, though, so it'd be interesting. We talked before the game about efficient shot selection, decision-making. It's a key for him and for this team, so we'll see how that dynamic plays out the course of the game.
You think Coach Broderick would have preferred Johnson take the shot there, just take the opportunity on goal, getting as close as he did?
Either that or run behind the net and, settle into an offense. I think that would be the key in that situation.
So another turnover for the Bulldogs as Pierre Johnson back. He connects with that pass. Good close-range passing by the Chargers, but a nice defensive pickup there, number 1, Dylan Gepford.
And if Westfield is going to turn the ball over and not win up the dot, this is not going to be a lead that they hold for a long time. It's putting too much pressure on their defense. Susko is a fantastic goalie, but you have to be able to protect him as much as you can.
Yeah, it's a great point by you, Joseph. And the Chargers still looking for their first score of the game. So credit the Westfield defense and goaltending. But you mentioned it. If they're going to have issues in the face-off circle and pair that with turnovers, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
But as we mentioned, when we talked to Coach Broderick early in the game, he didn't know who his guy, who he can count on in that midfield, in that attack unit was. So struggled to score.
So nice ground ball picked up there by the Bulldogs. It's number 22, Sam Magnuson. And he looks to clear the zone himself. So Sam Magnuson now takes it all the way into the offensive zone for the Bulldogs. He finds his teammate Alex Horgan. Talking to Coach Palazzati before the game, he mentioned that Alex Horgan, we talked about Chantilly still looking for that straw to stir their drink. Alex Horgan is that guy for the Bulldogs.
He really is. He's a dynamic scorer. He can move the ball as well. And him and Martin on opposite ends of the field, they're really tremendous for Westfield and the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs just working the ball around the zone right now, trying to find an opening in that Chantilly defense.
And credit Chantilly, they're beating man to their spot, forcing turnovers as we see Chantilly Charger in transition.
This is number 14 for Chantilly, making the run. A nice pass there and a shot. What a play there by Chantilly. Number 14 for the Chargers got that started, and
it's a beautiful spinning goal. Connor McLean, a player who we highlighted, made a great decision there. Just his patience, knowing that he had his teammate there to get the goal, and he was able to execute.
So Dylan Mordhurst, as you see the replay here, turning defense into offense.
That's what I'm talking about.
Got it to Mason Gion.
That quick pass by McLean, that was big for Chantilly.
Mason doing a good job of beating Susko near post, upper 90. Not much that Kyle could do with that shot. So the Chargers tie it up now, 4:45 remaining in the first quarter. But it was another one of those situations that you mentioned, Yosef, where a bad turnover for Westfield turned into an easy transition opportunity for Chantilly.
I think they would have really liked to get a goal on that possession right there, really push the pace and really put some pressure on this Westfield defense. They've won 3 straight face-offs here. Westfield really has to either execute at extreme efficiency on offense or find a solution on that face-off dot. Those Park brothers, both of them are really playing tremendous there early on.
The Bulldogs still looking for their first face-off win as Alex Horgan gives the Bulldogs the lead again. Alex Horgan, absolutely fantastic individual effort.
And if Westfield's going to score efficiently on offense, that's going to be the guy to do it, Alex Horgan. He slipped through, crease in the defense, and unleashed a nice shot there, got past the goalie.
So Horgan with his 25th goal on the season, and it was a beauty as he took the ball from behind the cage, beat his mark, and got the shot past the goalkeeper for the Chargers, Cameron Goodlow. As you take a look at the replay here. So Chantilly now with another face-off win, and the Bulldogs still looking for their first win on the dot this evening.
And it's interesting. We talked to Coach Broderick before the game, and we asked him who his primary face-off guy was, and he kind of smiled and said both of them, both the brothers. And
he said the brothers share.
The brothers share, and that's exactly what they do. And I wonder if that's to keep them fresh, to make sure that Westfield, they're going against a fresh Park brother each time down. But it's been really effective and working for Chantilly early on.
Yeah, Lawrence Park, the senior, is the primary face-off guy. Connor Park, the sophomore, is the backup face-off guy. But you mentioned it's almost a 50-50 split between those two. Meanwhile, for the Bulldogs, Jacob Susko is their main face-off guy and only a freshman, so you have to hope that the freshman doesn't get too down on himself, not having the early success that he wanted.
He's just got to compete and do the best he can. It's a big spot for him, but his team is counting on him. Fortunately, Westfield has the lead right now. Let's see if they can hold it here on defense.
And compete Susko will. Talking to Coach Palazzati before the game, he mentioned that that's exactly what Jacob is. He's just a competitor in droves. As that ball gets bounced around in front of the net, Kyle did a good job of keeping that out. Chantilly picked up the ground ball, took another shot, but it was well over the net, and it goes out of bounds. Westfield's possession now.
I wonder with face-off guys if you have to kind of have that mentality that closers do, or goalies in hockey or lacrosse, soccer, just kind of have that little bit on the edge kind of mentality, quick memory,
On to the next one.
On to the next one, exactly.
So Westfield now with a 2-1 lead, just under 2.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter as Alex Horgan has it behind the cage for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs now working it around the offensive zone. They've done a good job so far of slowing the pace down, slowing that tempo down, which is something that Coach Palazzati mentioned to me before the game, that was something that they weren't accustomed to doing, but because of the loss of David Chisevio, that it was going to be important for the Bulldogs to take their time in the offensive end. So that shot by number 7 gets saved. Tim Rossler with the shot. And a good save there by Goodlow.
In general, when you have a disadvantage at the face-off dot, having lost Chivio, your best face-off guy, you want to take your time on offense, especially when there's no shot clock. You can take all the time that you need. You've got players like Martin and Horgan who can really get behind the defense and put the ball in the net. So why not use that to your advantage?
So the Chargers in possession now in the offensive zone, making a couple of changes as Dylan Mordhurst comes back into the game. He got the assist on that first goal for Chantilly. And that's another save there by Kyle Susko.
McLean had an opportunity there, but Susko was able to jump right in front of it and deflect that.
So the Chargers looking to set up an offensive play here with just under a minute remaining now in the first quarter. And a long distance shot, but another good save by Kyle Susko as he was able to corral the shot there. Connor McLean, you mentioned, one of the keys to the game for us coming into this contest for Chantilly, and the Bulldogs have done a good job of shutting him down.
But I like that aggressiveness there, the decisiveness on that shot attempt. Taking the strike when he had the open shot. The Chantilly doesn't have a guy on offense, a go-to guy on offense. So McLean has to assert himself, and he did so there. He took the shot that was there.
The officials throw a flag, and it'll be our first penalty of the game. I was about to say that they're really letting them play so far this evening. That's going to be our first whistle. It looks like it's going to be called against the Bulldogs. So it'll be a 1-minute penalty where the Chargers are going to have a man advantage. Only 9 seconds remaining in this first quarter, but that man advantage will carry into the second.
I don't know if I'll make it to see Chantilly score the goal, as we've got a unique setup here, Andy, which our viewers will surely see. But it's important that Chantilly takes advantage of this opportunity. When you struggle to score the ball, but you've got the advantage of the face-off dot in defense, you want to make sure you take advantage of this opportunity to tie the game up.
So it looks like you won't, unfortunately, Yosef. But that was a great first quarter. If you're Westfield, you got to be thrilled with the way that first quarter played, minus the face-off circle.
I'm looking at Coach Palazzati, and he looks like he's composed, confident. This is what he wants. This is the tempo he wants. He understands the situation at hand with the disadvantage at the face-off dot. But I think that Westfield looks like they're in a promising position. We'll see if Chantilly can put the pressure on them with at the face-off dot and with their defense.
So 2-1 is the score after the first quarter. We will take a quick break here. You are watching the DMV Stream Game of the Week. We'll be right back.
DMVSTREAM.COM is the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Utilizing state-of-the-art production tools, DMVSTREAM.COM provides an unparalleled viewing experience from events like amateur, high school, AAU, youth, colleges, and professional sporting events. Using multiple camera angles, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew, all working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.com. At DMVSTREAM.com, we're working hard in our HD production studio to continue to bring our viewers a continuous flow of new and fresh content. Our studio material includes shows, analysis, recaps, previews, highlights, interviews, and commentary, all about your favorite DMV sports, including high school, colleges, and pro teams. Commercial space and inventory is available for sponsorship and businesses. Learn more about how to join our network of partners at DMVStream.com. That's DMVStream.com. DMVStream.com, the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. That's DMVStream.com.
Welcome back to Westfield High School as the Bulldogs currently have a 2-1 lead over the Chargers. As I welcome now Brenton Randolph to the booth. And Brenton, what did you see in that first quarter that allowed the Bulldogs to get that 2-1 lead?
Yeah, the big thing that I saw from Westfield was really that just their efficiency on offense. You saw Matt Martin and, of course, Alex Horgan, their leading scorer, get on the board there. And that's the big thing considering they're at that face-off disadvantage, considering their main face-off guy's been out. That's the big thing for Westfield is that they're going to have to be efficient with the opportunities that they get because Chantilly, it seems like, is going to have a little bit more opportunities, which also leads to Kyle Susko, another big guy who's been very impressive so far in this first quarter, only allowing one goal, considering the number of opportunities that Chantilly has had. That's really impressive.
Yeah, you mentioned it too, the draw circle and the turnovers that Westfield had in that first quarter put a lot of pressure on the defense and Kyle Susko in net. They're going to want to look to clean that up, but I mean they've got to be thrilled. Coach Palazzotti's got to be thrilled with a 2-1 lead after the first quarter without having won a faceoff.
Yeah, definitely. Faceoffs are usually probably one of the biggest things in terms of the sport. The more faceoffs you win, the more possessions you get, the more opportunities you have. Then with Westfield not winning any of them, it's been quite impressive that they've been able to capitalize on the opportunities, the few ones that they have had.
It's a great point by you, Brenton. It's one of the unique aspects of lacrosse. Usually you see in basketball and football and soccer, after a score, it's just possession goes to the other team.
Yeah.
Not that way here in lacrosse, as you can score, win a faceoff, and just keep going. So credit the Westfield defense for handling the pressure as they have a 2-1 lead, and the Chargers look to move the ball around the offensive zone. And if you're Chantilly, who are you looking to get going? I mean, their leading scorer on this season hasn't scored a goal. They got, Connor McLean hasn't gotten anything going yet. Mason Gion with the one goal assisted by Dylan Mordhurst, but it looks like Connor McLean is kind of the guy that they try to run their offense through, and he's yet to score.
Yeah, that's one of the things. It seems like Westfield's defense really has just been doing a good job of just keeping him contained. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those things where if you're Chantilly, they've been doing a good job of getting out on transition. If you can get Connor McLean the ball in transition, you might get a few easy opportunities to score.
So another big save there by Kyle Susko as the Bulldogs regain possession now. 10:30 remaining in the first quarter. The Bulldogs still with that 2-1 lead, looking to build on that. And it's really been a battle of the goaltenders as that pass goes out of bounds and one of those unforced turnovers that Westfield can ill afford to have.
Yeah, and you can see Coach Palazzotti not very happy with his main guy, Alex Horgan, on that one. Just saying, man, why would you make that pass in that situation? It was a difficult catch, and it ends up going out of bounds. And that's yet another turnover for Chantilly that's going to lead to another opportunity here.
Yeah, talking to Coach Palazzotti before the game, he mentioned how important Alex Horgan's going to be. And really the margin for error for Westfield is that much smaller, being without maybe their arguably one of their best players, if not their best player, in David Chisevio.
Yeah, I mean, David Sevio, he had been winning, what, 69% of his faceoffs. When you have a guy who's that efficient in the faceoff circle, he basically is going to give you the possession after a goal or anything like that 7 times out of 10. Without that, they haven't been able to have it as Westfield's able to force the turnover here. Without that type of faceoff possession advantage, it's really tough.
Yeah, to your point, Chisevio coming into this game was 142 out of 208 in the faceoff circle. The next closest was 7 of 25, and that was Austin Sidner. So a big loss, and you mentioned how important those faceoffs are in lacrosse. To lose your main faceoff guy, who's not just your main faceoff guy, but really good at winning those faceoffs for you, it's a huge blow to the Bulldogs. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this game plays out, as they're still looking for their first faceoff win. But give a lot of credit to the Westfield defense and goalkeeper, as they've been able to keep the Bulldogs in the lead.
Yeah, the big thing about Kyle Susko, prior to their 14-10 victory against Stonebridge, in the games that Westfield had won, he had been giving up somewhere around 6 goals per game. In this one, he's on track to only give up 4 because he gave up 1 in the first. But yeah, if he is able to shut down the Chantilly offense, if he's able to do it by himself, I mean, they could get out of here with a win just by him being hot.
Kyle Susko, a 2-year starter. Coach Palazzotti said he is, quote, very important to their success, and you might think that that's just kind of an obvious statement. Obviously, your goalkeeper's your last line of defense, but if he's hot, he can get on one of those streaks where you cannot beat him. And speak as soon as I say it, he gets beat low, far post, and a good long-distance rip there. Looked like number 4, Mason Gion, gets his second goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, Mason Gion seems to be the guy who's really been able to get things going here for Chantilly. Seems like Westfield's really done a good job of pretty much stopping pretty much everybody else, but Mason Gion seems to be the guy who's been able to find that hole in the defense.
As you take a look here at the replay, what do you see?
I see Chantilly doing a pretty good job working it around, and really this is just a nice shot by Gion.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned it. The placement of low, and in lacrosse, it's so hard to get your stick from high to low. That's why you see so many shots go to that lower third area of the cage, as Jacob Susko gets his first face-off victory of the afternoon and almost immediately gets it knocked out of his stick, but it's picked up by his teammate Matt Martin. So the Bulldogs getting their first face-off win will look to regain the lead, as we're all tied up now 2-2. With just under 8 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that was a pretty big face-off victory for Westfield, especially when you consider they lost the first 3. And I've seen plenty of times in lacrosse where when a team starts winning face-offs, they just go on a run, and they'll start scoring 3, 4, maybe 5 goals in a row. For Westfield to be able to get this one and set up their offense, this could be huge because it'll give them a chance to get the lead back.
Yeah, you mentioned, especially after conceding the lead, to get the ball back, get possession back, be able to take their time, slow down the tempo. And a long-distance shot there goes just wide. That's Sam Magnuson with the rib. Possession's going to stay with the Bulldogs. But that tempo was so important to Coach Palazzotti, talking to him before the game. He mentioned it, something that they're not used to because they like to play up tempo because they have such a balanced offensive attack. But being without their main faceoff guy and one of their main assist guys, they really wanted to slow the tempo down, be more methodical on offense.
Yeah, and they've done a pretty solid job of doing that. They've definitely been working the ball around, trying to find really the best opportunity to get their chances to score. And you can see when Chantilly, they get the ball, they've had a bit of a different philosophy. They wanted to try and push it out in transition as fast as they possibly could.
So Magnuson there looking for Martin. The pass gets just away from Martin. They finally find him, though, and he is looking for a shot. Goes low. Mentioned it before. The low shot is very popular in lacrosse. And Matt Martin now with his second goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, Matt Martin's one of those guys who, when he gets it going, he can be incredibly difficult to stop, and really did a lot of it by himself on that one, getting by multiple Chargers defenders, just dodging and weaving and getting to the spot that he wanted to get to be able to fire that shot and find the back of the net.
And that's something, as you look at the replay here, and you mentioned it, getting away from a couple of defenders, being able to control the ball.
Yeah, that's just good strength right there.
Gets the shot low off the ground. Gets it past Goodlow. Would have been a great save if he could have made it, but that's a tough one as, like you said, Martin, so tough getting past the multiple defenders. So important in lacrosse to be able to take the contact and keep going forward and also keep control of the ball. So Chantilly wins the faceoff following the goal as Westfield retakes the lead now. 6:20 remaining in the second quarter. The Bulldogs have a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, it seems like Chantilly kind of decided against going for the quick strike after winning the faceoff. They tried to do that a couple of times. I saw in the first quarter. This time looks like they're going to try and work the offense around and try and tie the game up.
And do you think that's a change in strategy, maybe because they saw what Westfield's trying to do now, slow the tempo down? So if you're giving up possession quickly and you don't score, then you're letting Westfield set up their offense, get methodical, and take some time off the clock.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things. As we saw Mason Jean just take the shot, and it goes just a bit wide. He was begging for that one to curve towards the net, but couldn't quite get it to go.
So the Chargers still in possession. Good passing there as the shot goes just wide. That was Mason Gian to his brother Connor. Connor's shot goes just wide. The Chargers are going to keep possession.
But yeah, going back to your earlier point, Andy, it seems like Chantilly is doing a little bit better job as it's loose now, but they were doing a little bit more to be a little bit more conservative with the ball and looking for or trying to pick and choose their spots as opposed to just going for the first shot that was available.
So that after that missed shot, possession stays with the Chargers as Pierre Johnson gets through a couple of Bulldog defenders, gets a shot off, but also looks like he's going to draw a penalty. So it'll be a man advantage for the Chargers. And it looks like that call is going to be a slashing against Jacob Susko, the freshman. The long stick midi. As you take a look at the Chantilly record here and schedule, what do you see there, Brenton?
Well, I see 6-4, not bad, not bad. They've lost 2 of their last 3, but Oakton and South Lakes are 2 very tough teams. Definitely in the Nova area, especially South Lakes. They got Spencer Alston, the football and lacrosse commit, going to Yale next this upcoming fall, and also Stevie Jones, another guy out of South Lakes who, when he gets going, man, he's really tough to stop. I saw him against Lake Braddock here at Westfield High School, and he went for 6 goals, so a double hat trick. So no shame in losing that one.
No, you buried the lead there. You say football and lacrosse commit going to Yale. I think Yale is the most impressive part that you could even get in, let alone to be a football and a lacrosse athlete. So definitely some great lacrosse talent in the area as that shot is saved. Another great save by Kyle Susko. He's been absolutely unbeatable this afternoon.
Yeah, man, that eye contact's just absolutely incredible there. Just to be able to locate the ball because it went low. It was pretty much the ideal shot that Mason Jean wanted to get. Be able to make that save, incredible.
So the Chargers still with the man advantage, doing a good job of passing it around the zone as that shot is low and wide off out of the stick of Dylan Mordhurst. Possession's going to stay with the Chargers. 4:16 remaining in the second quarter. Chantilly still on the man advantage. And a big save there again by Kyle Susko. And you got to wonder if Chantilly, after a while, is starting to get a little frustrated. That looked like one of those frustration shots where I'm not going to place it. I'm just going to try to throw it right through him. And Susko was up to the task.
Yeah, it seemed like Mason Jean maybe forced that one before he really had a wide open shot or the best shot available.
So our first timeout by the Westfield Bulldogs will give us an opportunity to look at Westfield's record coming into this one 8-4 on a 3-game winning streak. What do you see there, Brenton?
Yeah, the 3-game winning streak, very impressive. The amount of goals scored, also very impressive. Scoring 12, 11, and 14. I was actually at the game against McLean, and Alex Horgan had a hat trick in that one. And I believe Matt Martin had a hat trick in that one as well. So those are the 2 guys who really been getting it going for Westfield in this one, and no surprises there. They've been the guys getting it going again.
Usually a good night when you have 2 players on one team with a hat trick. As you mentioned, Alex Horgan and Matt Martin are really the main goal scorers for the Bulldogs. Of course, Martin with 2 already in this one, Horgan with 1. Horgan came into this contest with 24 goals, now up to 25. Martin, meanwhile, came into this one with 26 goals, of course, now up to 28. They're also, not shockingly, the 2 leading point scorers for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, the offense pretty much lives and dies with them, and that remains true. As we take a look at their only state championship appearance, they made it all the way to the state championship game in 2007, where they lost to Robinson, a lacrosse powerhouse in the Nova area, 11-3. Just a tough matchup. These 2 teams, Westfield and Robinson, actually met in the conference championship, I believe, last season. And, of course, Robinson ended up coming out on top in that one as well.
So it is a deep conference for lacrosse talent. Of course, mentioned it earlier, but it's worth mentioning again. Not only is this a rivalry game, but it's huge in terms of seeding for the conference playoffs. The winner of this game very likely to be the number 1 seed in that conference playoff, as that shot goes just wide out of the stick of Brian Jewell.
Yeah, the seeding all important in this one, probably especially for Westfield when you consider the injury to Casivio. You want to play probably the easiest schedule you could possibly play. Maybe somebody who that has a team that's not as strong on the face-offs. That would definitely be huge for Westfield if they're able to get this win and be able to sew up the number 1 seed.
So Horgan with the ball now for the Bulldogs behind the cage. Looks to set up the offense. And a nice piece of defending there as the ball gets knocked out of the stick. That looked like it was number 20, Ryan Morris, for the Chargers. Knocking the ball out of the stick of Alex Horgan. And talking to Coach Palazzati of the Bulldogs before the game, he mentioned that a lot of the offense, don't be surprised if you just see some ISO. Just let Matt Martin, Alex Horgan kind of clear one half of the field and let those guys just go one-on-one.
Yeah, we kind of saw that earlier when Martin scored the 3rd goal of the game. A little bit of an ISO, able to just dodge some of the defenders, score the goal, and that's what's got Westfield the lead right now.
So Horgan looking for Jewell there was just a little bit high. It's hard to overthrow Brian Jewell, standing at 6'2", 265, so a big target. Unable to come down with that pass. And so the Bulldogs now with a turnover back to the Chargers, and that's been one of the areas that I'm sure that Coach Palazzati is going to have to talk to his guys at halftime, is just cleaning up those turnovers, especially the unforced one, just passes a little bit off the mark here and there, as Pierre Johnson with possession of the ball now for Chantilly. The Chargers look to work it around the offensive zone.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing that you mentioned, wanting to take care of the turnovers and that sort of thing, because you can't really control the fact that you don't have your main face-off guy. That's going to be tough, but the things that you can control are being able to keep possession, being efficient with those possessions, and they've gotten a little bit better at it, but they haven't been as efficient as they could be, and that's something that they'll definitely want to improve on once the second half starts.
My partner sounds a little bit like a coach. Control the controllables. I love that. So nice piece of defending there by the Bulldogs. Possession will stay with Chantilly, but you saw a big hit there as Pierre Johnson got knocked to the ground. So, of course, mentioned that this is a big game in terms of seeding, also a rivalry game. These 2 teams very familiar with each other. Talking to Chantilly's coach before the game, Coach Broderick, he mentioned how a lot of the players on either team are very familiar with each other in terms of youth lacrosse. Obviously, they've played against each other now in high school, and a lot of these guys also play football. So they just got done playing the football season where they certainly matched up. So it's not too surprising to see some chippiness in this one.
Yeah, definitely a lot of bragging rights on the line in this one. These 2 teams, these schools only about 5 miles apart, so like I said, a lot of bragging rights on the line, and you can be sure that there'll be a little bit of trash talking, a little bit of chippiness.
And as you say that, number 2, Matt Martin, gets knocked to the ground after doing a little spin cycle, but that followed another fantastic save by Kyle Susko. What can you say about his effort so far this evening?
It's been huge. It's probably the biggest thing for Westfield so far in this game, is that he's been able to make all the saves, or really just all the difficult saves, as many saves as possible, considering Chantilly, they were able to get the pressure up early when they were playing fast-paced, and now when they've slowed it down a little bit, they've been able to get pretty decent-looking shots. As you see here, coming into the game, he had 38 goals allowed, 54 saves, and a 58.7 save percentage. And like I mentioned earlier, he had only been giving up an average of around 6 goals per game in wins before the game against Stonebridge. And looks like he's well on track to maybe even lower that average after this game.
Absolutely, and it's not because of effort from Chantilly. They've peppered him with some shots. They've put some shots in good places, places you'd want if you're the offense to put those shots. He's just done a great job of, you mentioned it, eye-ball coordination and getting the stick to the spot in time.
Yeah, that's the big thing, especially for Chantilly. Mason Jean's definitely been putting a lot of pressure on him, forcing up a whole bunch of shots. And it's one of those things where if you're Mason Jean, you got to be persistent, continue to put that pressure on Kyle Susko, and hopefully wear him down at some point. But right now, Kyle Susko's still going strong.
Susko's going strong. The defense for the Bulldogs playing very much within themselves, which is something that Coach Palazzati mentioned to me before the game.
Controlling the controllables.
Controlling the controllables. That's the phrase of the evening so far. It's a great one. And really slowing that pace down for the Bulldogs, I think, has been very effective to kind of neutralize the big loss as that shot is scored. What a rip! An absolute rocket out of the stick of Sam Magnuson. The junior gets his 9th goal of the season and gives the Bulldogs a 4-2 lead.
Yeah, just an excellent play there by Sam Magnuson, getting this one with less than a minute before halftime. Just a huge goal right there to give to continue to extend the lead for the Westfield Bulldogs, and they're going to definitely need it considering the face-off disadvantage that we've been mentioning throughout the broadcast.
So Magnuson now with a goal to go along with an assist earlier in this one. That's now his 16th goal on the season. As Jacob Susko picks up that ground ball. So credit a face-off one to the Bulldogs, an area that they've struggled in so far this evening. But nonetheless have a 2-goal lead, and a lot of credit goes to Kyle Susko, as you mentioned. He's really been the star in this one for both teams, as he has held Chantilly to 2 goals as the Chargers look to set up their offense. Pierre Johnson with it now at the top of the zone, looking for some help, and finds it in Owen Morgan. That shot goes just wide as the halftime buzzer rings. Mason Gian with another shot goes just wide. Brenton, what did you see in that second quarter, and what do you expect to see more in the second half?
Yeah, I was very impressed by just Westfield's ability to maintain possession and really be very efficient with the possessions that they had, considering that. And they were able to be a little bit more efficient with it than they were in the first quarter, where they struggled a little bit with turnovers. So that was the hugest thing, and especially as we mentioned earlier, Kyle Susko having a huge game in goal for Westfield. That's why they got the 2-goal lead.
4-2 is the lead for the Bulldogs over the Chantilly Chargers. We're going to take this opportunity to take a quick break. So glad you could join us this evening. Andy Mendoza here alongside Brenton Randolph. And Brenton mentioned real quick, the possession and the tempo for the Bulldogs has been fantastic. Is exactly what Coach Palazzati was looking for coming into this one.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where we mentioned that Casivio's been out with the face-off at the face-off circle because of the injury. That's one of those things where when you're not going to be able to win the face-offs, you've got to really value the ball when you get the possessions they do have. And you saw Chantilly kind of adjust to it as well, because they were going very quickly there in the first quarter, taking a bunch of quick shots and ended up giving up possession. Later on in the second quarter, you saw them start to be a little bit more conservative and value the ball a little bit more as well. So you see Chantilly starting to play a little bit more of Westfield's game as opposed to Westfield having to step up and start playing Chantilly's game.
So we'll take a quick break here. 4-2 the score as the Bulldogs lead the Chargers at halftime. He is Brent Randolph. I'm Andy Mendoza, and you are watching the DMV Stream Game of the Week. We'll be right back.
DMVSTREAM.COM is the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Utilizing state-of-the-art production tools, DMVSTREAM.com provides an unparalleled viewing experience from events like amateur, high school, AAU, youth, colleges, and professional sporting events. Using multiple camera angles, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew, all working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.com. DMVSTREAM.COM, we're working hard in our HD production studio to continue to bring our viewers a continuous flow of new and fresh content. Our studio material includes shows, analysis, recaps, previews, highlights, interviews, and commentary, all about your favorite DMV sports, including high school, colleges, and pro teams. Commercial space and inventory is available for sponsorship and businesses. Learn more about how to join our network of partners at DMVSTREAM.com. That's DMVSTREAM.com. At DMVSTREAM.com, we use state-of-the-art live streaming and video production tools to create an unparalleled viewing experience from local sporting events. Whether we're using our 12-foot HD broadcast production truck or employing one of our state-of-the-art fly pack kits, our broadcasts always include multiple camera angles, instant replay, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. DMVStream.com, the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. That's DMVStream.com. DMVStream.com is the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Utilizing state-of-the-art production tools, DMVStream.com provides an unparalleled viewing experience from events like amateur, high school, AAU, youth, colleges, and professional sporting events. Using multiple camera angles, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew, all working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. At DMVStream.com, we're working hard in our HD production studio to continue to bring our viewers a continuous flow of new and fresh content. Our studio material includes shows, analysis, recaps, previews, highlights, interviews, and commentary, all about your favorite DMV sports, including high school, colleges, and pro teams. Commercial space and inventory is available for sponsorship and businesses. Learn more about how to join our network of partners at DMVStream.com. That's DMVStream.com. At DMVStream.com, we use state-of-the-art live streaming and video production tools to create an unparalleled viewing experience from local sporting events. Whether we're using our 12-foot HD broadcast production truck or employing one of our state-of-the-art fly pack kits, our broadcasts always include multiple camera angles, instant replay, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. DMVStream.com, the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. That's DMVStream.com. DMVStream.com is the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Utilizing state-of-the-art production tools, DMVStream.com provides an unparalleled viewing experience from events like amateur, high school, AAU, youth, colleges, and professional sporting events. Using multiple camera angles, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew, all working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.com. At DMVSTREAM.com, we're working hard in our HD production studio to continue to bring our viewers a continuous flow of new and fresh content. Our studio material includes shows, analysis, recaps, previews, highlights, interviews, and commentary, all about your favorite DMV sports, including high school, colleges, and pro teams. Commercial space and inventory is available for sponsorship and businesses. Learn more about how to join our network of partners at DMVStream.com. That's DMVStream.com.
Welcome back here to Westfield High School as the Bulldogs have a 4-2 halftime lead. My pleasure to welcome now Nick Yore to the booth. Nick, what did you see in that first half? What do you expect to see now moving forward in the second half?
Yeah, I thought it was a typical first half, what we expected from these two teams. They really want to slow it down and get good opportunities when they do get in the offensive end, especially Chantilly, when they are anchored by their defense, their two Division III defenders, and their goalie, who is not playing today, but he is a Division III lacrosse commit as well. So they like to play from the back and get good quality chances, which I thought we saw as they took their time in the offensive end. And then for Westfield, that's what they need. They need their guys, Alex Horgan and Matt Martin, to really score their goals for them. They are their two best players, especially offensively, and they did in the first half, getting 3 of their 4 goals. So that's going to be key for Westfield moving forward. And then the injury to their main player, their face-off guy, David Casivio, is out for them right now. So then if they can get some face-offs in the second half from their backup and really get some good possessions to get the ball to Horgan and Martin and get some goals against this tough Chantilly defense, that'll be the key in the second half.
Yeah, and you see the graphic there, David Casivio not playing for the Bulldogs. A big loss for Westfield. But you also mentioned it, Alex Horgan, Matt Martin, Sam Magnuson really stepped up in that first half for the Bulldogs. Alex Horgan with a goal, Matt Martin with 2, and Magnuson, I think, was really the biggest pleasant surprise if you're a Bulldogs fan in that first half. A goal and an assist. And, of course, what can you say about Kyle Susko in net? I mean, absolutely fantastic for the Bulldogs in that first half.
Yeah, they're going to need to clean it up in front a little bit for him. He can't keep bailing them out like this all game. But you're right, he has made some incredible saves, at least 4 or 5 from what I could account for from up top. So then just getting him some more opportunities in the offensive end will really be key.
And you do that starting off in the face-off circle, and of course you need to lower the pressure on your defense by not turning the ball over. I walked by the Westfield huddle there during halftime, and that was something that Coach Palazzati was imploring to his team. It's something that Brenton and I talked about before. Brenton had a great quote that I'm just going to use now for the rest of my life. Control the controllables. I love that, and it's a great message to Westfield, because you're missing one of your main guys. You're missing the guy that really stirs the drink for you offensively. So you need to, and also, you know, especially in the face-off circle, you need to be able to control the possession when you get it, and make sure you're not giving up more possessions than you need to Chantilly, as that first face-off is won again by the Chargers, shot just wide.
Yeah, Lawrence Park for the Chargers has done a really great job in these face-offs today. He's won almost every single one of them, and then immediately starts the attack for the Chargers, charging in and getting good opportunities after almost every face-off. So he's doing a really good job at that.
So Chantilly again going with that up-tempo, shooting early on in the possession, trying to get something going before the Bulldogs can really set up that defense, which has been under a lot of pressure tonight, but they've answered pretty much every question that Chantilly has asked.
Yeah, Chantilly likes to move the ball and really get a good quality shot, as they don't have the superstar players you see from other schools, and they really like to move it around and get everyone involved offensively.
That's a great point by you, Nick. Chantilly very balanced on offense. Meanwhile, you see Westfield is, you know, they've got a bunch of guys that can score, but their big guys are Horgan, Martin, Magnuson, and of course the one that they're missing, David Casivio, who we've mentioned a lot on the broadcast tonight, and it's a big point. So it's something that we want to make sure we hammer away, that this lead for Westfield is not just impressive because it's a big rivalry game, not impressive just because it is a big game in terms of seeding in the conference playoff, but it's a huge game for them because they're missing arguably their best player, as you see Sam Magnuson there with the clear and spin move, putting Pierre Johnson on skates there.
Yeah, Westfield's really got to look to set this up once they do finally get the ball in the offensive end and find number 2, Matt Martin, and number 11, Alex Horgan, to try and get them great opportunities, because those are the 2 guys who are going to convert for them in this clutch.
So Magnuson with it now. Of course, no shot clock in high school lacrosse, so the Bulldogs are happy to take their time, especially with a 2-goal lead.
That's something both teams will not mind doing, is taking their time on the offensive end.
So Horgan with it now. You mentioned how important it is to get him in possession of the ball. He has it behind the cage right now, but being absolutely hounded by the defense. That's a good job there.
Now they called a penalty on him there for it looks like a slash.
Got a little bit too aggressive. It was Robbie Se. So the slash, good call by you there, Nick.
Yeah, I was with you on your end. Looked like great aggressive defense, but I guess he got a little overzealous for the ref's liking there, and they hits him with the slash.
Take this opportunity to let you know that DMVSTREAM.com broadcasts pro, amateur, college, high school, AAU, and youth games in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia live to televisions, computers, and mobile devices like iPads, iPhones, Androids, and more. Find out more at DMVSTREAM.com. Andy Mendoza here alongside Nick Yor. So glad you guys could join us this evening on DMVStream.com or Facebook.com, however you're watching us tonight, for what has been a fantastic game so far between Westfield and Chantilly, as Alex Horgan's shot goes just wide. We had a good view of that one, Nick, and it went just screaming past that near post.
It looked like almost an instant replay of his second goal in the first half, as he came from underneath the cage like that and scored from the left side, shooting back towards the goal. So that's what could be one of his favorite moves moving forward in this game.
So Horgan with it now. Gives it up as the Bulldogs doing a good job of moving the ball around, and a big spin shot there by Sam Magnuson with his second goal of the evening. Gives the Bulldogs a 5-2 lead.
Yeah, that is huge for Westfield. As you know, Martin and you know Horgan are going to get their goals. They're going to get their opportunities. If they can have a third, maybe a fourth guy step up, especially in the absence of Cavasillo, with Magnuson scoring his second goal, like you said today, that would be huge for Westfield and huge for them moving forward into the playoffs when they get him going.
So Magnuson now with his third point of the evening, came into this contest with 19 on the year. He is third on the Bulldogs in goals scored, now up to 17 on the season in terms of goals scored. Also to go along with an assist, which he had earlier in this one, assisted on the first goal of the game. And really credit the Bulldogs for continuing to fight, not content with a 2-goal lead, now extending it to 3. It's something Coach Palazzati mentioned to me before the game also, that they really needed to match Chantilly's energy and intensity, and they've not only matched it, they've exceeded it.
Yeah, it was especially in the second half, because they are known as a second-half team, and thought we had a good opportunity there, but it does go wide. Chantilly is a second-half team, so you do really need to match their intensity coming out of the locker room.
So the Bulldogs in possession again after extending their lead to 3, just under 8.5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter, and a sloppy pass there turns it over. Now the refs are going to say that's going to stay with Westfield. It was off the stick of a Charger, looked like number 20, Ryan Morris.
Oh, good play there to recover there by Morris and get the steal.
So Chantilly looking to clear the zone. They do, but the pass gets away. Nice ground ball picked up there. That's number 2, Matt Martin, for the Bulldogs. So Westfield back in possession. Horgan can't control that pass. And guess who? Sam Magnuson is Johnny on the spot.
Such an alert play.
That's a great point by you, and he takes a shot afterwards. The refs have really let them play. Is that something you've noticed today, too? Is it maybe because of a rivalry game, big game in terms of seeding?
Yeah, definitely let them play. You've seen some bigger hits where you see in lacrosse where those big hits you think are football hits and they get called a penalty. And you've seen some of those kind of get let go today, and maybe that is the rivalry. Maybe it's just hard play, but it's been fun to see.
So Pierre Johnson now for the Chargers brings it into the offensive zone as Chantilly looks to cut this 3-goal deficit.
Yeah, this could be a danger time here for Chantilly. They can't get down much more. They're not a team built to come back from big deficits.
And another big save by Kyle Susko, just absolutely amazing so far this evening. And when you struggle to come back from big deficits, it makes it that much harder when the other team's goalie has been as stout as Susko has been.
He has been hot in this game. A lot of saves, and his brother playing in front of him, I'm sure, helps.
You mentioned it, his brother Jacob playing great defense. The long stick midi, number 3 for Westfield, picks up the ground ball there.
And he's just a freshman, so very exciting player for the Bulldogs moving forward.
Brother Kyle is a junior. Good passing there, but Susko again shuts the door. Great play by Kyle Susko, the junior goalkeeper for Westfield.
Absolutely great goaltending there, as it was a 2-on-1 opportunity, and he just had to come flying out of his crease, make himself big, and really stop that shot from coming in from point-blank range on him. Just an incredible save.
So a turnover there in the midfield by Westfield. And Mason Gion's shot saved again by Susko. He is really the deodorant that's been cleaning up the defense. Anything that gets through the Bulldogs.
And there you see,
we have 2 Bulldogs.
Yeah.
It looks like hurt. One is Jacob Susko. The other one looks like it's number 1, Dylan Gepford.
And that's 2 defenders for Westfield. As we see, their defense has been a little shaky. They've had Susko in behind them to bail them out a couple times. So seeing 2 defenders down is not a good sign for the Bulldogs.
As we take a look at this replay, what do you see on this save? Another beauty by Susko.
I mean, this is just where goalies really have to make up their mind. Oh, this is a different one. This is where he just stays big, stays strong, and this is where they had a bad turnover. And Chantilly was racing down their goal scorer, Mason Yon with the ball coming at him, and he just stays big, stands strong, and takes it in the chest. Great goalkeeping.
So it looks like Dylan Gepford is just stretching out what looks to be a cramp. I won't say just a cramp, because having had those before, they are painful.
Yeah, and it's finally warm enough where players can start getting some cramps.
Absolutely. Good point by you. It is. We've all been waiting for spring to come. Spring has finally sprung, and it looks like Jacob Susko was the other Bulldog that was injured on that last possession. He's still out on the field. He's tough. He's a lacrosse player.
Yeah.
Also a football player. Talking to Coach Palazzati before the game, he mentioned that Jacob has got such a high lacrosse IQ for a freshman. He's also got that toughness and that competitiveness that you're looking for, and gets a lot of that from his football experience.
Yeah, they sure know how to play football here out of Westfield. Back-to-back reigning state champions for the Bulldogs. Just an incredible run they're on right now.
Back-to-back. 3 state championships in a row. I don't care what the sport is, what the area is. That is impressive.
Yep,
So
what
you
level.
know they've got athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Great piece of defending there. Really swarming defense, which is something Coach Palazzati mentioned that he was really looking for his guys to use tonight, was just that swarming defense, attack by numbers.
Yeah, and a great outlet after by Susko to get this offensive possession started for the Bulldogs.
So Martin with it now as he and Horgan play a 2-man game. 4.5 minutes now remaining in the third quarter as Westfield with a 3-goal lead over their rival Chantilly.
Westfield really looking to put this one away here, and then as soon as you say that, turnover, bad passing there by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's really been the area that Westfield has, and one of the only areas Westfield has struggled in so far this evening is just cleaning up those turnovers. Of course, also on the in the face-off circle.
Yeah, and those seem more mental mistakes. You see coaches, parents just very upset after those balls go trickling past their players.
Pierre Johnson making a good run here for Chantilly, takes the ball all the way behind the cage.
He's really been the main attacker for Chantilly, not necessarily looking to score for himself, but looking to set up his teammates and get good opportunities for the Chargers.
Only a sophomore, Johnson. as that shot is scored. Chantilly, that's number 16 for the Chargers, as Owen Morgan, cuts the deficit to 2 as Chantilly trails now 3-5 with 3:37 remaining in the third quarter, and a nice shot there by Morgan, long distance, finally gets one past Susko, as you see the replay here.
Yeah, the sophomore midfielder really coming up, like you said, and firing a shot by for the huge goal for Chantilly to get them back in this game. Absolutely enormous to get someone besides Mason Leon on the scoreboard as well, just for confidence and psyche-wise. So hopefully they can keep this going.
So another face-off win for the Chargers, and that's the area they've really dominated in this game, but have been unable to turn those face-off victories into points or good scoring opportunities, as Kyle Susko and the rest of the Bulldogs defense have been really, really tough so far.
Yeah, like you said, this has been the key. Once they do win this face-off, which they have won a majority of the time, they just have to get better opportunities and better shots than they've been getting. Kudos to this Westfield defense and, of course, their goalie, who's made impeccable saves that probably no one else in this conference makes.
So good passing here by the Chargers, and another goal scored. That's number 4, Mason Gian, with his third of the evening. So Gian completes the hat trick to make it 5-4 Westfield, 2:51 remaining here in the third quarter.
Yeah, 3 of the 4 goals. Westfield might want to put a man on him. Gian that's a good guy to get it to. Once you swing it around the horn, he just caught the ball on that right wing and fired that right-handed shot by the goalie Susko. As you see the great ball movement, finally sets up his feet, and that's the guy you want the ball if you're the Chantilly Chargers.
And that's something we haven't seen much from Chantilly this evening, Nick, has been the ball movement and then shot. You've got to get the defense moving. It's a little bit like playing a zone defense in basketball. You want to change sides of the field, get them moving a little bit, find the openings. And Kyle Susko has been fantastic this evening, but he can't save everything.
Yeah, that is one of Chantilly's keys to this game is quality over quantity in shots. So they want to get good shots rather than just firing it every time they get it.
So Mason Gian letting that one rip, and a good save by Susko. And you mentioned it, that might have been one of those quantity over quality shots from Mason Gian. And another good clear by Kyle Susko.
Yeah, he's done a great job setting up this offense and great outlets past the other part of goalkeeping that often gets overlooked, besides making all the great saves.
And so the Bulldogs now with possession on the offensive end, passing, just bouncing around a little bit, and again, just a little bit of a sloppy pass. That was number 7, Tim Rossler, looking for Joseph O'Brien. Ball goes off the stick of O'Brien.
Yep, same type of turnovers we've been talking about that we've seen from the Bulldogs all night. With this game close now as a one-score game, they're really going to have to clean that up.
So good defense there in the midfield by Westfield. Gets possession back to the Bulldogs, but you have to imagine the momentum is really on the side of Chantilly after those 2 straight goals.
Yep, and they know every time they get a goal or they get something that leads to a face-off, they know they're going to have an advantage if they've won the majority of these face-offs and will get the ball back.
So 90 seconds remaining here in the third quarter as Westfield is in possession with a 1-goal lead. Sam Magnuson has it now. As you see, Chantilly has really extended their defense out a little bit more here in the third quarter. And a good piece of defending there. That's number 23, Daniel Morris, the long stick midi sophomore for Chantilly.
Yep, brother also on the team. A lot of brothers in this game between both teams.
A lot of that. We mentioned that earlier in the broadcast. And you have the Park brothers, the Susko brothers, the Morris brothers. So it's a family feud of lacrosse this evening.
Yeah, with the schools being so close, it's not surprising to see that.
So Chantilly in possession. That shot goes just wide. And good job there by Kyle Susko. I've been really impressed with Susko, not obviously in between the pipes, but it's the little things that he does also. You mentioned doing a good job of clearing his line. There he got off his line to win possession back to be the closest to the ball going out of play. So now possession goes to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's something you see goalies try to do a lot, but they often don't get the call. And he was actually there, beat the attackers to the ball, and got possession for his team. Just a huge play.
So the junior Kyle Susko getting a lot of D3 interest, Mary Washington specifically, a 2-year starter. And he changed his positioning a little bit. Talking to Coach Palazzati, mentioned that after the South County game, he has been absolutely lights out. Coach Palazzati noticed, and the coaching staff noticed, that Susko was crouching a little bit too much into the pipe, so he's stayed standing up a little bit more, and you mentioned it earlier, making himself big. And it's really been to credit the coaching staff to Westfield has worked beautifully for the Bulldogs and Susko, as Westfield now takes a 5-4 lead at the end of 3. Nick, what did you see in that quarter?
Obviously, big bounce back quarter for Chantilly. Get this game a little closer. It's 5-4, so they are in this game, and they will be coming, and they do still have the face-off advantage, even though Susko's younger brother, Jacob, has been taking over the face-offs for Westfield and has won a couple recently, but they still are not doing well in that department, and Chantilly will have a lot more goal opportunities coming up in this fourth quarter.
So 5-4 the score after 3. Nick Yor, Andy Mendoza here. So glad you could join us on DMVSTREAM.com. We're going to take a quick break here, come right back with fourth quarter action. You're not going to want to miss it. It should be a fantastic finish as you are watching the DMV Stream Game of the Week. We'll be right back.
DMVSTREAM.com, the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.com. That's DMVSTREAM.com. DMVSTREAM.com is the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Utilizing state-of-the-art production tools, DMVSTREAM.com provides an unparalleled viewing experience from events like amateur, high school, AAU, youth, colleges, and professional sporting events. Using multiple camera angles, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew, all working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. At DMVStream.com, we're working hard in our HD production studio to continue to bring our viewers a continuous flow of new and fresh content. Our studio material includes shows, analysis, recaps, previews, highlights, interviews, and commentary, all about your favorite DMV sports, including high school, colleges, and pro teams. Commercial space and inventory is available for sponsorship and businesses. Learn more about how to join our network of partners at DMVStream.com. That's DMVStream.com.
Welcome back to Westfield High School. Andy Mendoza here alongside my new color guy, Brandon Green, as we're playing kind of musical color analyst this evening. Brandon, what did you see? 5-4 the score after 3 quarters. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, in that first half, it was kind of methodical for both teams. Both of them really just playing that slow pace. Then Westfield, in that third quarter, really getting out, winning those face-off, winning those ground balls, getting out to that 3-goal lead. And then Chantilly just came back out of nowhere, and now they made it a game in this fourth quarter, and it should be a good one.
Yep, you mentioned it as we are underway here in the fourth quarter now. Just over 11 minutes remaining in regulation as Westfield has possession in the offensive zone along with a 1-goal lead. And you mentioned it, Brandon, that third quarter was really dominated by Mason Gion, scoring 2 goals in that period to get himself the hat trick and get the Chargers back into the game.
Yeah, and for him just being able to do that, and they're leaning on the senior right now, and what he's going to have to do in this fourth quarter is much of the same thing.
So a big save there by Goodlow as Chantilly looks to turn defense into offense, and Sam Magnuson is still down on the field for Westfield as the officials eventually blow the play dead, and the trainer's going to have to come out and take a look at Magnuson. He went down almost immediately after letting that shot go, so we hope he's okay, but he seems to be very uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, for Chantilly, they have to capitalize on plays like that. Being able to get down a couple men and that transition down the field, but then they're going to have to capitalize on that.
As you see there on the monitor, I should say, Evan Royster, a former lacrosse and football player here from Westfield, former Penn State running back and NFL running back. Of course, it's a good weekend to be a Penn State running back. Evan Royster there, as we all saw Saquon Barkley go to the Giants yesterday in the NFL draft, number 2 overall. So, but to that point, Westfield's such a powerhouse in all athletics, not just lacrosse, but obviously football with 3 straight state championships. As we welcome you to the booth now, Andy Mendoza here alongside Brandon Green. And Brandon, you mentioned that third period was huge for Chantilly, but they really need to capitalize on the opportunities that they've been given.
Yeah, because this Westfield defense, when they get set, they're really hard to score on, as you see. For Chantilly, they have to get out in transition just as much as they can against this Westfield defense, because when they set, it's really hard to score against them, especially with that man in the middle.
So Joey Mazzoni now with the pass to Pierre Johnson, and that shot goes just wide. So a good job by Westfield's defense of making it difficult on Johnson. And Joey Mazzoni was one of the players that Coach Palazzati was really paying attention to coming into this game for Westfield. And they've done a good job, the Bulldogs defense has, of shutting down Mazzoni, as they do a good job of picking up the ground ball there. Under 10 minutes now remaining in regulation, and the Bulldogs will look to clear the zone.
Let's see if the Bulldogs are able to set up something on this possession and get it to the back of the net, because that's when they've really been effective this game.
Yeah, it's a great point by you, Brandon. Alex Horgan is so hard to defend really anywhere on the field, but especially when he's playing there behind the cage. And that's exactly what they do, as Horgan has it now.
Okay.
Goal line extended.
They're just so patient on offense. It's kind of boring to watch, but it's still just such good lacrosse, because they're not going to force a shot. They're just going to bring it back out and set back up.
Very methodical, and it's something that they've kind of had to work at in the last few days in practice. Coach Palazzati mentioned to me that, you know, losing their main faceoff guy and one of their biggest point scorers in David Casivio, that he wanted his guys to really slow the pace down, slow down the tempo, and be much more methodical on offense, as the Chargers now taking a long run and a long shot there by the long stick midi, number 30 for the Chargers.
Have to capitalize on something like that.
Kevin Kindle with the shot. Another save by Kyle Susko turned into an opportunity for the Bulldogs, and the action is fast and furious right now. 8.5 minutes remaining in regulation. Still that 1-goal lead for the Bulldogs.
As we know, this rivalry runs deep, only 5 miles apart.
Absolutely, and not just in lacrosse, in football and basketball. It's a rivalry. That a great catch there on the pass there by Dylan Mordhurst. Coach Broderick for Chantilly told us before the game that these players are very, very familiar with each other because of youth lacrosse, the proximity, as you mentioned, and also a lot of these guys play football as well. We just finished up the football season not too long ago. So I won't say bad blood, but the rivalry, the chippiness certainly is real in this one.
Ooh.
Chantilly with a couple opportunities there.
Have to, because Susko is just so good in the middle that it's really hard to score on him.
3 straight saves by Kyle Susko, shutting the door on Chantilly. Looking for some help from his defense to pick up a ground ball and clear it. And Susko again doing the little things, coming off his line to earn possession for the Bulldogs. Unbelievable, Brandon.
He's been key for them in this game, especially when missing their lead faceoff guy. Him being able to control them on the defensive end has really opened things up for Westfield.
So the Bulldogs back on the attack now. And one of those unforced turnovers that we've talked so much about this evening, as the pass goes a little bit too high for Jacob Susko to control.
Yeah, you have to control this ball, because you don't want them to get in transition like they are right now.
So Mason Gion's pass can't find Pierre Johnson, and the ground ball is fought for by a couple of Bulldogs. Johnson finally comes to pick it up, and it looks like we're going to get a timeout. Chantilly, and not a moment too soon, as it looked like both teams were a bit frantic. As we'll take a quick look, we mentioned the talent on both teams. There's a lot of college commits as we take a look here, Brandon.
Yeah, as we look at Isaac Coley and JMU commit, we got a couple of JMUs on this staff today. Shout out to Ryan and Nick. And then when you look at Kyle Susko, D3 interest, he is really a talent, and he's showing that today, being able to control everything that is coming his way. As we just saw, three straight saves on that last possession.
Absolutely, yeah. And not just D3 interest. You see D1 interest there in Andrew Warrington, a defender, and number 2, Matt Martin, getting interest from from ACC teams. That's nothing to flick your nose at. That's really impressive. So a lot of talent on this Westfield team, and still a very young team as they continue to grow, continue to play together, heading into the playoffs, into the conference tournament. They're really peaking at the right time, coming into this game with 3 wins. As we take a look now at the Chantilly College commits.
Yeah, as we look at Lawrence Park, the Washington MD commit, staying local, and then we have a couple more staying local as we look at Ryan Morris, Virginia Wesleyan commit, and for Jack Sefcik, Jeff Seskett, St. Vincent commit.
Absolutely, yeah. So a lot of college talent on both rosters, as neither team wants to make the names easy for us here in the booth. But to that point, it's been great lacrosse. And really, the Northern Virginia area is kind of sneaky deep when it comes to lacrosse talent.
Exactly. When we look at teams such as South County, and even these 2 teams today, if Chantilly wins this game right here, this could be a game that turn around their season.
So the winner of this rivalry matchup is very much likely the number 1 seed in the 6A Concord Conference playoffs. As that shot is scored, Mason Gian, with his 4th of the evening, has tied it up at 5 with 6:50 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Able to sneak it right past Susko. What velocity on that?
Give a lot of credit to Coach Broderick for Chantilly coming right out of the timeout. We mentioned it in basketball a lot that you kind of judge a coach based off of their out-of-timeout plays, their out-of-bounds plays. He must have drawn something up, and he got his hottest scorer right now, Mason Gian, open, and he certainly made his coach look right.
For Chantilly, they're going to have to do this every time now, being able to come down and run those type of sets. But it's going to have to be quick as they win the face-off right here, and they're on the attack again.
Lawrence Park winning another face-off for Chantilly has really been the area of the game that the Chargers have dominated so far in this one, as they've climbed their way back, scoring 3 straight goals.
Let's see if Mason Gian is able to get that favorable matchup again.
So Chantilly slowing it down a little bit after they finally tie the game up. They've been knocking on the door, but Kyle Susko kept shutting it on them. Mason Gian got another one by him.
That's Clark Saban with the nice pass. Just wasn't able to convert.
Just off the mark. You mentioned Saban there with the pass. Possession will stay with Chantilly. No shot clock in high school lacrosse, so the Chargers can take their time as we approach 6 minutes remaining in regulation.
Joey Manzoni with the shot and the goal.
Jump
Right
shot.
there.
Joey Mazzoni gets past Susko. Near post, upper 90. And Chantilly now with their first lead of the game.
And this is coming at the right time. Late 4th quarter, middle of the 4th, having to get that momentum. And now we're going to see them. Are they going to be able to impose their will on these face-offs?
As we take a look at the replay here, what do you see, Brandon?
Oh, I see. He fakes out the defender, and he gets it right over that stick and right past Kyle Susko. And Susko's been so good all day, but these past 2 goals have been a little bit too fast for him.
Yeah, it looked like he almost wasn't expecting that shot as Mazzoni was running away from the cage.
As they win another face-off. Let's see. Okay.
So Chantilly now takes possession into the offensive zone. This is number 22 for the Chargers, Robbie Seh.
Let's see if they're able to work it back into that middle of the field again where they've just been having so much success.
Pierre Johnson with it. He is very quick and under control with the ball in his stick, so the Chargers doing a good job of working the ball around the zone. And you mentioned it, the face-off so important in lacrosse as the Chargers have been able to
Owen Morgan with the
take
spin move.
possession. Good job by the Westfield defensive, shutting the door there.
Just right off the mark for number 2.
So Connor McLean keeps possession for the Chargers. Joey Mazzoni, the goal scorer that gave the Chargers the lead. Chantilly looking to run one of their offensive sets.
See if they're able to get into the hands of Mason Gion again, as you see him in the middle of your screen.
That pass is just a little bit too high, so an unforced turnover for the Chargers gives possession back to Westfield.
Can't do that with this Westfield team because they're too consistent on the offensive end, and then being able to get into these sets quickly as they're doing right here as they work it all the way around, getting it to the back of that net.
So a good sign to see Sam Magnuson back on the field for Westfield as he went down earlier in this half. He's been crucial for the Bulldogs with 2 goals and an assist.
As we see Magnuson with the ball right here, working it around. They're just trying to get that right shot right now to tie this game up.
And Horgan with it now behind the cage, coming around, tries the little trick shot just a little bit wide. It was a good thought. Not sure that he necessarily needed to force it there, but possession will stay with the Bulldogs.
And that is probably what Coach Kevin is preaching right now to his team. Just to stay patient. You don't have to win this game all on one shot. Just do it as a team right here.
It's a nice one-on-one play there, but the defense able to double up.
Got himself to a little bit of trouble right there. And now Chantilly.
Yeah, that was Adam Markert. So Chantilly has possession now with a 1-goal lead, looking to add to it. Nice close-range passing. Good job by Kyle Suskov picking up that ground ball as he comes way off of his line. Does a good job of clearing it up the field, but it's going to go out of play and time out Westfield before Susko got the pass off. So we'll take this opportunity to let you know that you can tune into DMVSTREAM.com's weekly high school sports show, The Prep Zone, every Wednesday. The Prep Zone recaps the week in high school sports with highlights and graphics and tackles the biggest games each week, featuring the area's premier reporters and analysts as well as local coaches. 3:08 remaining in the fourth quarter as the Chargers with a 6-5 lead over the home team Bulldogs.
And what Chantilly's talking about right now is just trying to stay patient on that offensive end, not to force anything as we saw Westfield do.
As we see here, Kevin Petrillo, a former Westfield standout lacrosse and football player. Of course, we mentioned it. This school, this area, this conference just churns out athletic talent as he played football for the 15 and 16 Westfield football championship teams. 2 interceptions in that 2015 state championship game for the Bulldogs.
It's just amazing how many athletes that they have here at this one school doing things big on the college level.
So Coach Palazzotti for Westfield had a quick chat with his team as he felt the Bulldogs were getting a little bit out of sorts. They gave up the 3-goal lead. Clearly momentum on the side of Chantilly, so good timeout there by Palazzotti as Westfield now looks to set their offense up, and it's a nice job there by Matt Martin of getting the ball out of the midfield and into the offensive zone as he was being hounded there by a couple of Chargers.
Still don't know how he got himself out of that one. A great move by the sophomore. Very methodical, just waiting for that zone to open up.
No rush, and Coach Palazzotti mentioned it to me talking to him before the game, that they really want to slow the tempo down, being without one of their best players and knowing the ability that Chantilly has on the offensive end. They really want to be methodical, take their time, and it's even more important now as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Westfield will have to eventually get going as Alex Horgan puts a series of moves on 2 Chantilly defenders, tries to change fields and get the pass. Nice ground ball picked up there by the Chargers, and they're off to the races.
Have to capitalize right here. Put some distance between you and this great Bulldogs team.
Yeah, credit number 18, Brandon Brendan Mordhurst with the ground ball for Chantilly as the Chargers have possession now, looking to add to the lead, and that shot is way high and off the mark. Possession will stay with Chantilly. Connor Gian keeping possession for Chantilly. And just like that, another unforced turnover.
Just keeping them in this game. It's just mental mistakes.
90 seconds remaining. You mentioned it, mental mistakes. As it looks like we're going to get another timeout here from the Westfield sideline. So we'll take this opportunity to let you know that you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Facebook. DMVSTREAM.COM broadcasts the Prep Zone each week on our Facebook page, streams live games, and uploads new content each week. Andy Mendoza here alongside Brandon Green. So glad you could join us this evening for this rivalry matchup between Westfield and Chantilly. And Brandon, it's really been a fantastic game. We expected a close one coming into this one, and that's exactly what we have. 90 seconds remaining. It's a one-goal game.
Yeah, especially in a rivalry game like this. You don't expect either team to give up, as we saw Chantilly storming all the way back to take the lead. But now the pressure's on Westfield. What are they going to do on this offensive possession?
Yeah, what do you expect? I mean, Coach Palazzati obviously talking to his guys right now. What do you expect? I would think Alex Horgan or Matt Martin have to be involved some way.
Yeah, as we saw Alex Horgan, the last series down, him taking his defender one-on-one. Maybe they put some pick plays in there as he's behind the net, doing what he does best. But they're just going to have to stay patient. You have over a minute, almost a minute 30 left. If you're able to just stay patient, the zone will open up. Everything will open up for you. Just work the ball around. It's not going to have to just be one man.
And clean passing. I think that's something that we've touched on a few times now during this fourth quarter, that for both teams, the unforced turnovers and the sloppy passing has really hurt them. So if you're Westfield, you want to make sure you have clean, crisp passes. You're moving the defense, getting them to go side to side. And like you said, maybe you find an opening for one of your guys, whether it's Martin, whether it's Horgan, whether it's Magnuson. Sam Magnuson. There was my screw up. One of these guys that have been so crucial for you in this one is that shot. It's a quick one, is saved by Goodlow, but good job of Westfield fighting for possession, and Horgan's going to keep it for the Bulldogs.
Now let's see what Horgan's going to do. Ball is in his hands. Game is in his hands as well.
Horgan looking to take his defender one-on-one, and we've seen him do that a couple of times now this evening.
Here comes the pick. Oh, just right off the mark for him.
Good save there by Goodlow for the Chargers, and even more importantly, the ground ball picked up by Chantilly as they will race down the field. And another unforced turnover there. That was number 23, Daniel Morris, the long stick midi, doing a good job of clearing the zone, but just got a little overzealous, and the officials are going to call it, looks like an offside. So Westfield now, with 35 seconds remaining in regulation, will have one last chance to tie this game up and send it to overtime.
Here goes Horgan with the move, working his way back around the net, trying to get to his spot. A little bit of high step from him right there when he puts his defender and himself on the ground, trying to work it in. Trying to work it in that middle.
That was a great pass
Right
to
off
find
the mark.
Brian Jewell right in front of the net, and Jewell gets shut down. Cameron Goodlow with the save of the evening as Chantilly looks to run out the last few seconds of the game. One second remaining. Looks like it's going to be a timeout for the Chargers. Interesting decision there by Kevin Broderick. Listen, it's a rivalry game. There's a reason it's a rivalry game, and it's stuff like this.
And when you speak about these two teams, playoffs are next for these two teams. So he's just trying to get his players to calm down. You're not going to have to go out there and do something stupid that's going to cost you in the long run.
Absolutely. We'll take this opportunity quickly to let you know you can follow us on Twitter at DMVStream. Send us your highlights for top plays and for run at the Prep Zone, and let us know which games we should be at each week. Follow us on Twitter at DMVStream. And, of course, if you want to broadcast your game or event, visit DMVStream.com/contact-us to give us more information about the event and to receive a free quote as we take a quick look at the replay of that last save by Cameron Goodlow. That looks to be right now the game-saving save as Brian Jewell was wide open in front of the net. Great job by Alex Horgan of finding his teammate.
I think he should have went low on that one. If going up high, you're just giving the goalie just so much range to get that ball.
Yeah, it's a great point by you, Brandon. As the final horn blows, 6-5 is the final. Chantilly scoring the last 4 goals of the game, finding themselves down 3 there in the third quarter. A lot of credit goes to Mason Gian, and Owen Morgan gets the game-winning goal as the Chargers close it out 6-5. Chantilly looks like they're now going to have the 1 seed in the conference championship. Don't be surprised to see these two teams playing again, though, down the line.
And I think when we see them down the line, Westfield is going to have to find an answer for Mason Gian. As you mentioned, 4 goals in this game today, and him being able to bring his team all the way back from 3 goals down in that third quarter and just be able to keep them steady. They needed that senior leadership today.
So Mason Gian, the star of the game. A lot of credit also to Cameron Goodlow, the goalkeeper for the Chargers. But I want to give a shout-out to Kyle Susko, the goaltender for the Bulldogs, as we welcome you up to the booth now. He was really fantastic, being peppered with shots all game. Did a really good job of keeping Westfield in the game, especially when they were having issues in the faceoff circle, having a few issues in terms of turnovers. Kyle Susko was really that steadying force for the Bulldogs on the back end. Unfortunate for him that they just could not get enough offense.
And what happened for him is those 2 goals in that fourth quarter that zipped right past his face. There's nothing that you can really do about that but get out the way. And for him, he just had such a good game. You hate to see him go out like this.
Absolutely. It's a great point by you, Brandon. So glad you all could join us this evening for what was a fantastic game of lacrosse as the Chantilly Chargers take this one 6-5 over the Westfield Bulldogs. Thanks so much again for joining us here on DMVSTREAM.com. Until next time, have a good night.